Hi there, welcome to Terraland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Scorpio energy. And like usual on this channel, the top row is going to be high vibe Scorpio energy. It could be what people want to do in their life if they had more hope and faith and belief. With the Empress energy, the feminines in tarot talk about our emotional state. If they had hope and faith and belief in love, or felt more balanced within themselves, or, anyway. And the World card is the reason for the reading. Some people just want to love the world, want there to be more love in the world, but it could be a conflict between people have within themselves, because the bottom row is going to be shadowy Scorpio energy. We might want to love the world. We might want to be in the energy of love, but are we willing to put in the work and effort to learn lessons in life, to grow and mature ourselves? It takes work emotionally to get balanced within yourself. And in the energy of being balanced, where we've offset our more worldly, fearful, insecure, emotionally defensive, immature, lazy, self-centered nature, with hope and faith and belief and love. Some people would love to do that, but it does take work and effort emotionally, and some people are unwilling to do that. There's some people that are in shadowy energy that some of the people who are in high vibe energy, they wish they'd knock it off. Because they'd like to be in a relationship with them and have them indulge them in a relationship. And I think right now, the loving people of the world, people who have maintained their balance, are not taking action out of pride and ego and fear and insecurity. The Empress energy is Libra-Taurus energy. And Scorpio is emotional water sign energy, represented by the Six of Cups, which is about being balanced. I am balanced between my shadowy nature. I admit I have a worldly shadowy nature, but I offset my shadowy nature, my fears and my insecurities, with love and hope and faith and belief and compassion and forgiveness for what has been, the mistakes I've made in life, mistakes other people have made in life. And I've done the work to maintain balance within myself so that I can give birth to something new, because I want to be in deep, meaningful relationships that are just and fair and loving and loyal and committed, and be a person who gives love in the world. That's what high vibe energy is about. I want to be in the energy of love in the world. I want to be in relationships with other people who want to be in the energy of love in the world. In an emotionally mature, stable, grounded, balanced way. Not where I'm indulging myself in my poor behavior, fear, insecurity, codependency, materialism, or indulging other people in their shadowy behavior. High vibe people are giving birth to ending a cycle in their life, because life is all about growing and maturing ourselves and learning lessons in life. To be bold and brave enough to let go of old ways of being and old ways of living our life, old ways of thinking about the world, detach from the things that we used to emotionally love. We all loved life when we were 15 years old. Are we all still living life like we're still a 15-year-old? No, because we grew and matured ourselves. We put away our more immature ways of being, and we faced some of our fears and insecurities to move forward in life. Some people, they get to a certain age in life, and for some reason they think they don't have to do that anymore. I'm good. I'm good right here. And other people are like, but I'm still motivated and inspired to give birth to new things. And some other people are like, no. In the bottom row shadow, we have the King of Wands energy. It is Aries energy. You don't have to be dealing with an Aries sun sign. Do not get caught up in the zodiac signs. We want to be in relationship with people who harness these energies in a high vibe way. If we're high vibe, if we're more worldly focused, we want to hang out with other people who harness these energies in a more worldly focus. There's some people in the world who turn their back on love. No, don't want to do that. No, that's not for me. I get hurt doing that. I'd have to step out of my comfort zone. I'd have to live life differently. I'd have to let go in the Tower card. I'd have to let go of some ways of being that I don't want to let go of. I'd have to love myself enough to face my fears and insecurities to give birth to something new. I'd have to close out an old way of living life to grow and mature myself to my full potential. Again, our shadowy nature is our more immature, indulgent, impulsive, reckless, prideful, egotistical, lazy, self-centered, worldly focused, materialistic, where those things all take precedent in our life over our facing our fears and our insecurities, learning how to love ourselves, tempering our pride and ego, and growing to our full potential. And there's some people in the world that have no interest in doing love. They could get hurt doing that. Some people don't want to be just and fair. Shadowy Aries energy in itself is about the self. And some people have no interest in growing and maturing themselves. It's all about them indulging in this more unstable way of being, because to have a solid foundation in our life, we need to build our life on love. But some people want to build it on lust and greed and pride and ego and self-centeredness. And it's hard for them to maintain maybe jobs and relationships because, they don't invest in love. I want to be in the relationship, but I want to be prideful. I want to be lazy. I want to be self-centered. I want to be manipulative. I want to be bossy and controlling. I want it to be all about me in the extreme. Some people, it's just what they got growing up to do, and they have some lessons to learn about love and what it means to be in a relationship. Also, shadowy Aries can be people who just think, isn't relationships about sex? Isn't it about being in a relationship with someone and kind of indulging myself sexually? Isn't that love? Well, that would be people in the Knight of Wands, of Sagittarius energy, who they have a lot of lessons in life to learn. They're kind of immature players. They think that'll make them happy. Isn't that what I should love? And then it's kind of interesting that the Lover's card is Gemini energy, which is a dualistic sign, and it has to do with what aspect within myself, because we all have this dualistic nature. We have our more worldly, animalistic, self-centered, beastly nature. We're the only animals of the world that can elevate ourselves to looking at life from a higher perspective, where we don't act like a beast in the world, And we can shed layers of our more animalistic, selfish, greedy nature to be more loving and compassionate, to treat other people the way we would like to be treated. And some people don't even like to be just and fair. If they were to choose love, it is about a higher truth, a higher justice. And some people are like, it's all about me. It's whatever I think is just and fair. That's what I want to go do. I don't want to do equal give and take. I don't want to learn lessons in life. I don't want to give birth to anything new. I'm happy living life the way I've done it. And maybe I'll go find other people that maybe have had something happen in their life. The Tower card can talk about that a foundation we had been invested in that we thought was going to provide stability and security, and it kind of blew up in our face. The thing is, we got to realize, for some, there's some really shadowy people in the world, and they're all about themselves. They don't give a damn about anybody else. I want to be in relationships with people who are unstable, ungrounded, don't love themselves, don't believe in themselves, are fearful, insecure. Oh my God, you're my kind of person. You're going to stay right here, right? You're never going to go anywhere. You're never going to give birth to anything new. You're not going to do work to love yourself and get more balance. Perfect. I want to marry you. That way I can indulge in a relationship with you, with me being the boss. It's all about me. Not everybody's that shadowy. Some people are just immature. Some people haven't learned to love themselves. But the whole thing is, well, for one, this isn't a personal reading. So it's just in general talking about, in Scorpio energy, some people are emotionally shallow and superficial. I don't want to do love. I turn my back on love. I don't want to do a deep, meaningful relationship. I like emotionally shallow, superficial relationships. I'm an immature player. I reject. well, well, you could probably look at it as learning lessons, because the devil comes into our life when we have a lesson to learn. Can't just be we're naive, we're gullible, we're immature, and we got a lot of life lessons to learn. And that's when the devil comes in. And if we are willing to put in work and effort to love and believe in ourselves, we can close out and shed one layer of our more worldly nature, even if it's just immaturity and gullibility, being gullible, to realize, oh, because if you're a high vibe Scorpio, you just harness high vibe Scorpio energy where you have hope and faith and belief and love. You want to be in deep, meaningful relationships. You want to be in just and fair and loving relationships. You are motivated and inspired to shed some of your baggage. I don't want to carry all the fears and insecurities that in my Scorpio nature I could have kept buried beneath the surface emotionally. I want to deal with those things. I don't want to drag it around with me. I want to give birth to finishing the cycle with whatever those issues are in my life. If that's past pain and heartbreak, if it's fear and insecurity, if it's being immature and indulgent, I'm tired of learning the lessons, I want to get my divine inheritance, basically. I want a loving, abundant, nurturing, supportive life, and to feel that way within myself. I want to feel balanced within myself. I want to be a loving person in the world. Some people aren't motivated to be a loving person in the world. They might present the persona of being that, but just to get what they want. It's good for their ego and their image and their status. So that's the thing too. Sometimes, there's people in the world who are shadowy and immature, maybe very unstable, don't deal with their own shadow nature. Like the rest of us human beings, they got fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs too. They've probably made mistakes in their life like the rest of us fallible human beings. But there's some people like, no. Shadow energy is about being in denial of the truth, because the truth sets us free. And some people are like, no. I'm not selfish. I'm not greedy. I'm not prideful. I'm not immature. I'm not indulgent. And they just like to live in denial. But they like to present themselves as being a high vibe person in the world. I'm a loving person. In my Libra Taurus energy, they don't have to be a Libra or a Taurus, but they try to present themselves as being someone who wants to be in a relationship with people, that they're just, they're fair, they're loyal, they're committed. Basically that they're tempered within themselves, and that could be the farthest thing from the truth. They could be very unstable. I want to get in a relationship so that I feel more stable, so I look like a boss in the world. I like to maybe be in relationships with other people who are more unstable and immature than me. So then I seem like I'm this loving person in the world. And then I feel at peace in the world because I've gotten myself in a relationship with someone who's more immature and impulsive or whatever than me, or has more fear and insecurity than me. Then I can feel like I'm this loving person, and I reinforce to myself that I'm a loving person. A truly emotionally balanced, loving person, which I think we can all kind of go through this sometimes. Sometimes you can be a very loving, giving person, but you're not so good at being in relationships with people who treat you in a loving, balanced, just and fair way. It's like, that's different. I'm kind of used to being in relationships with people who are kind of more immature and impulsive, and then I have like my God complex, my Savior complex, and I'm going to save the world. Well, we're not supposed to be in denial of the truth. We're supposed to be enlightened to the truth. And the truth is, people have free will, and we're not God. So we need to get out of our ego. And when we get in relationships with people and we have the best of intentions, and we see, motivated and inspired by love, and we're in a relationship with someone who's kind of more in shadowy energy, and we see that they're kind of doing some things that aren't conducive to being in a loving relationship, we're supposed to, from a place of love and balance, not being in our ego, see the truth. Oh, wow. Wow, that person is like immature. That person's impulsive. That person's selfish or greedy or lazy or self-centered or egotistical or jealous and envious and petty or something. Oh my gosh. And we come into contact with all these different people in the world to help us get clear about our truth. Do you think you're God? Are you in your ego and your shadow nature? Well, you can keep chasing after them if you want, and you can keep turning your back to an equally balanced, loving relationship. If we get in a relationship, so the justice and love, high vibe love energy, is balanced. If we get in a relationship with someone who's tipped out of balance, everything has to be balanced. So if we get in a relationship and they do something that's like unjust, unfair, it's one thing to extend grace to people and maybe indulge them for a little bit to try to help them get their life back on track and get back up on the road because they kind of drove their life off into the ditch. Just like if any of us, when we have done that in our life, in our past, or growing up, we appreciated the people in our life who extended us some grace where we maybe had some lessons learned. But the whole thing is, if we keep indulging people in their poor behavior and they keep not taking action, like running away from doing any work on their own foundation, the truth that we might not want to see is that they might have no interest in freeing themselves from whatever has a hold of them. I'm immature. I like being immature. I'm kind of self-centered and egotistical. I like kind of being prideful and egotistical. Are you going to keep staying there and trying to inspire me in a relationship? Are you not going to leave and go get the justice you deserve and close out a cycle with me? Perfect. Oh my gosh, I hope you stay here forever. I hope you keep turning your back on loving yourself and tempering your ego. Because if you did believe you deserve to be in a just and fair and loyal and committed and stable and grounded and respectful workplace friendship or romantic relationship, you'd leave. And you'd quickly move away because I'm creating an illusion. And you should love yourself enough to become independent of me and stand up for yourself. But if you're not willing to do that, this is great. You keep chasing after me. And then I never have to face my own fears and my insecurities and my self-limiting beliefs or my prideful, bossy, controlling, self-centered, insecure, whatever way of being, because you're never letting go of me and you keep indulging me in a relationship. This is perfect. You're my kind of person. Maybe let's get married. That'd be perfect. Some of you have already been in a relationship with someone who is like that. And it's kind of this confusing thing of what we learn about like love. And we also have lessons to learn in love. And we go out in the world and we have to learn these lessons. And sometimes we really go to the very edge of, sometimes we can really drive our life off into the ditch too. And then it's kind of like, wait a minute. Has my judgment been clouded? Because that's what shadowy energy is about. We have lessons to learn. There can be people that we love. There can be people we're attracted to. That we would like them to move forward with us in a just and fair and loving relationship. But there comes a time with the Tower card, which is like a universe card in tarot, that it's trying to get us to see the truth. You might love that person. You might wish that person would move forward with you, but you got to see the truth. This is not safe, stable, or secure. And you need to love yourself and temper your pride and your ego to take inspired action. The Six of Wands gets out of the Five of Wands, and the Five of Wands is where we have inner conflict, but our intuition is telling us this isn't the dream we thought it was going to be, and we're here to manifest our dreams into reality. The whole thing is, we have a dualistic nature, other people have their dualistic nature. It's kind of like spiritual warfare between high vibe energy and more shadowy energy, and we can all be a kind of a shadowy aspect to a degree in people's lives, and other people can kind of be a shadowy aspect in our life. Is it keeping us from listening to our intuition and growing and maturing ourselves to become all we can be? Then at that moment in time, they're kind of a shadowy energy to us. We certainly don't view them as the devil, and it's not like they are, but when we're in shadowy energy, sometimes even if you're in high vibe energy, it's going to trigger people. It's kind of like you're almost a shadowy energy, even if you're in high vibe energy, because your light irritates their demons. If you are no longer in shadowy energy, and some of you've done this, some people are just doing it in a relationship. Before, people could have been in a relationship, a love relationship, a family relationship, a workplace. Everybody thought, oh my gosh, this is going to move forward so victorious and so successfully. But then it got to be where, it's time to move on to the next phase of life. The relationship needs to kind of go to the next level. And that's when some people got defensive. I like doing life the way we've been doing it. And one of the other people, or one of the employees, say in the workplace, didn't let their own fears or insecurity or pride and ego stop them from being willing to take some creative action in their life to just face some of their fears or insecurities, or not get caught up in the drama or the ego or the fighting. I want things to change. There's something about this dynamic. I'm tired of it. I don't know about the rest of you. I'm ready to give birth to something new. And when one person, and I think it's really kind of interesting that, how it happens within like a workplace, a family group, or a friendship group, when one person changes for the better or the worse, it affects the whole dynamic, because it's kind of like everybody was used to doing things a certain way, and now one person isn't doing things the way they used to do it. And it kind of throws off the whole dynamic. It's kind of like, well, I would do this, and then you would do that, and then they would do this, and I would do that, and they would do that, and it was kind of like everything had its rhythm. But it could even be, it's time to grow up and mature yourself. And some people, it's like, I don't want to keep indulging in immaturity, or whatever phase of life they were in. I'm tired of that phase of life. I'm ready to go to the next phase of life. Just like we do when we were 15 And then we want to be more like an 18-year-old and more like a 21-year-old and more like a 25-year-old. And we kind of give up some of our old ways of being. And when one person kind of stops playing the game and is trying to give birth to something new, maybe trying to encourage the other people to temper their ego or their more, just whatever that phase of life is where you're kind of living life a certain way. It's like, I'm ready to move forward differently. I have a dream. From the 6 to the 8, it's the 2 of Wands. I have a dream. I didn't expect to keep staying here and doing this forever. I thought, we were going to keep offering love to the situation, and we were all going to become more emotionally independent and more emotionally independent of our ego and our fear and our insecurity and our pride and our ego and our more immature ways of being. And basically, if you want to keep moving forward the same way, indulging in the same things and doing the same old shit over and over and over, I don't want to move forward with you. And just like some people are telling that to some of the people they're in a relationship, the other people are telling them, yeah, I don't want to move forward with you either. Because you're more ready to give birth to something new, and I'm not. The Tower talks about a truth being revealed. And the truth is what sets us free. And some people aren't ready to see some truth that makes them keep doing life the way they do it, and shedding a layer of some of their fear or their insecurity, or if they are kind of bossy and controlling and manipulative and like people being more codependent on them, they might just think, I'll go find someone else to go be a friend with or get in a romantic relationship with. Because this, unbeknownst to you, you maybe didn't realize that I am kind of like to be indulged in a relationship, and I kind of like to maybe be the center of attention, and you maybe didn't even realize for a long time that it is kind of, I like to either have this nurturing, loving role in people's lives and for them to look to me like they would look to a mother for advice. It makes me feel very loving, and it kind of indulges me in my ego. And to be in a more just and fair relationship where we treat each other as more emotionally independent people, and you're not here to feed my ego and my illusions about myself, and it really is about putting in work and effort to be just and fair in a relationship, I'm willing to let you go. And some people are just immature and indulgent, and you didn't know that. And some of them are really motivated and inspired by the world, and that's what drives and motivates them. We can be friends with people for a long time or in a relationship with people for a long time and not really know the truth because it was never challenged in a way, Sometimes, like I say, just some people move forward in life. They're facing some of their fears and their insecurities, and other people don't really like that. It's like, you're moving forward in a way I'm not. And I'm not ready to do that, and you're ready to go out there and give birth to something new. Some people just have to pay attention to people in their life that could be in chaos. And if those people in their life that they can, the Tower can be like a foundation. Some of those people don't want to detach from those people. Some of those people are trying to motivate and inspire those people. And if it gets to a point where that seems to be like they just got to let those people go, then those people might move forward eventually. But for now, they might have some disruption in their life or that they need to pay attention to, and they're not ready to detach like you could have been willing to detach. So then let's go back up here. What's this card? The Queen of Cups, which is, I view that as Scorpio energy. We can have deep, well, again, Some of these people, you're ready to give birth to something new. You can have people in your life, it can be your adult children, it could be your siblings, it could be your parents, it could be a romantic interest, whoever it is. You have love for them, but we can only indulge people. At a point in time, we got to stand up for ourselves. And regardless of if it's your adult children or your siblings or whoever, you're acting in ways that aren't conducive to this relationship moving forward in a more, sixes again are about balance. You seem to turn your back on moving forward in a more balanced way where we could move forward in life. You seem to be defensive of that, and it kind of seems like you're in your ego about it. Like you want to keep moving forward. The Knight of Wands and the Eight of Wands is Sagittarius energy. Like you think we should just keep moving forward without you having to do any inner work. And you think we should just keep moving forward together where I keep indulging you in your more immature behavior. And sometimes it's like, you need to grow up. Or I'm not going to hang around with you as much, I'll see you at Christmas, I'll invite you over, blah, blah, blah. If it's a family member, an adult child or sibling or whatever. But I'm really not going to be spending much time with you. I wish you peace, We want to wish everybody in the world peace because love is what helps heal people. But I think it's just and fair for me to maybe not indulge you. I kind of look like the Queen of Cups to me is kind of like, I do view it as Scorpio energy, but I'm not going to indulge you like a mother would a small child. You're not a child. You're an adult, That's the kind of people I'm talking about in your life. People who aren't a small child. They're an adult. Grow up. To think that you can move forward with people and loving people are just supposed to kind of keep indulging you in your more immature, prideful, indulgent, defensive, unstable way of being that isn't built on a foundation of justice and fairness and truth and love. No. So I think some people quit indulging or are quitting indulging someone. And then it's kind of interesting to see what people do. When people are in their shadowy energy, it is kind of like, I want what I want. And they can get mad secretly that you're not indulging them the way they used to. Like you are holding the line, maintaining balance within yourself. I'm not going to keep indulging you in your poor behavior. I'm going to take action to stand up for myself and distance myself from you if you're going to act like that. I'm not going to keep indulging you in your ego. And they're like, how dare you not indulge me? And sometimes you'll see them act out in much more shadowy ways because it's like a spoiled child who's used to being indulged. Sometimes that's all we need. It's like the last straw. It's like this could have been going on for a long time. Trying to be loving and encouraging and supportive to people to get them to move forward with you in a more loving way, balanced way, just way. And it just, when we really sit back to kind of observe it, that's when, I'm going to keep maintaining my balance, not indulging them. They'll keep trying to get you to indulge them in their poor behavior because they don't want to be just and fair in a relationship. They want the scales of justice tipped in their favor. They're okay with you getting not what you deserve so long as they get what they want. And it's more, when we really look at it, it's more important to them for them to get the things that they want. And they don't really care that you don't get the things that you want. You just want justice and fairness and balance and love and people to act with character and integrity, to put in some work and effort to grow and mature themselves emotionally. And they're like, no, not going to do it. It's like, okay. I'm going to give birth to something new. And part of that is closing out this cycle of indulging you in this way. And for some, cutting them out of your life. And that can be a big difference between you and those type of people. When the cards aren't showing themselves, I think high vibe people are willing to cut these shadowy ways of being out of their life and shadowy people out of their life, even just shadowy ways of being within themselves. Because if we align with some shadowy ways of being in ourselves, I'm fearful, I'm insecure, I'm codependent, whatever. Guess what? We're going to have people in the world who are happy that we live our life like that, because then we'll hang out with them and be in a relationship with them. And when we quit aligning with that in our life, we're going to quit indulging those people in our life. And some of the people that are in their shadowy energy, there could be ways of being that they don't want to let go of within themselves. And therefore, then there might be people in their life that they're not willing to detach from. Other people in their life who are happy that they are kind of immature and indulgent. Cool. Be in a relationship with me, even though I might just be your friend or your family member or your guy or your girlfriend. You know? I don't even have to be a romantic interest. I'm in my pride and ego. I want you to let those people go and be defensive to them. Because those people stand up for themselves and they don't move forward in pride and ego like we do. And they're not, bossy and controlling like we are. And their light irritates my demons that I don't show people. And I want you to let them go because they're more bold and brave and confident than we are. So let them go and hang out with us. Let's none of us grow and mature ourselves. Let's none of us deal with our fears and insecurities. Shadowy Scorpio energy. Let's be emotionally shallow and superficial. Let's keep maintaining this illusion of how wonderful life is now that those people left. But they were the people who were loving and nurturing and authentic and just and fair and acted with character and integrity. Now, the only people we might have in our life is the other people who also operate out of pride and ego and fear and insecurity and ego and image and being manipulative and petty and jealous and envious. The extremes of shadow energy can run the line up to narcissism. For some, it's just people in your life, like adult children, who can be kind of immature, But those people maybe aren't willing to cut some people out of their life and ways of being, and you are. So let's take a look at what they are, and also your heart, what they don't know about you. Some people thought that if they didn't move forward in a just and fair way, that you wouldn't be willing to detach from them and you chase after them. And you turn your back on love and tempering your own fears and insecurities to move forward and wrap your brain around this game of life to realize that you're getting caught up in illusion. This is not a just and fair and balanced loving relationship. And they're hoping you won't put in the work and effort to see the truth and that you'll be defensive of walking away. And it's like, perfect. I just love it when I act that way and you don't walk away, because it's one more day of reinforcing to me that you have less and less confidence in yourself and you're going to keep indulging me on this unstable foundation. And then I can go do whatever the hell I want. So some of the people who thought people wouldn't walk away from them, what they didn't know about you is that you are someone who's motivated by love. And you are willing to temper your pride and your ego and your fear and insecurities, not to stay in something that's not loving. They keep living a life that's unloving, keep probably having, whatever they align with in their own mind. It's not love. They're not putting in work and effort to offset their fears and insecurities or immature, indulgent, codependent nature. What they didn't know is that you were willing to quit working with them or being a marriage partner to them or working at that job. You are willing to end that. Why? Because of your philosophy of life is different than theirs. And in your Taurus energy and your Virgo energy, your philosophy of life is that I should grow up and mature myself. I don't deserve to create a little hell on earth in my life. And when I realize that I am creating a little hell on earth in my life because of my fear or my insecurity or my lust or my greed or my addictions, eventually it inspires me to love myself and take some bold, brave, confident action to wrap my brain around this game of life. Because why am I creating a little hell on earth in my life when I have the free will to create balance and love in my life? And if that means I need to walk away and let go of some foundations with people, I'm going to do that. Because if they're not loving and encouraging me, like I might be loving and encouraging them to have hope and faith and belief in my dreams, then we're not on the same page. I want to give birth to loving relationships. And that's your underlying philosophy of life. And you put in the work and effort in your Virgo energy to see the truth. That life is about learning lessons, that we get in these relationships with people to get clear about what our truth is, what their truth is, what am I motivated and inspired by, what are they motivated and inspired by. And I want to move forward in an emotionally balanced, loving way within myself and with others. And in the magician of Gemini Virgo energy, I do believe in my dreams, and I'm not willing to give up my dreams to chase after someone who's not being just and fair and loving and loyal and committed and acting with character and integrity, who has a lot of growing up to do. I'm going to see the truth. I would wish you would, but you have free will, and maybe I wasn't seeing the truth. That you have a lot of growing up to do, might have a lot of issues that you keep buried beneath the surface that you don't deal with, which stops you from choosing love. And you manifested an ending to that job and that relationship to be able to emotionally detach yourself from it. To emotionally... See, the thing is, if when we get in those situations in life, if we're willing to go within to look at what we hadn't seen, oh, was I naive and gullible? Did I think everybody believed in love and not everybody does? Well, now I'm not as naive and gullible. Oh, are some people in shadowy Scorpio energy? They are emotionally shallow and superficial because it is confusing to deal with our emotions, and they apparently don't choose to deal with them. And they like to keep everything buried beneath the surface. Okay, we look at life differently. High vibe Scorpio wants to explore the highs and lows of life. I only got one life, God, bring it on. I am not willing to give up my dreams just because other relationships in my life didn't work out. Because other people I could have gotten in a relationship with were more immature or bossy or controlling or prideful or egotistical or motivated and inspired more by money and materialism. And I didn't realize that some people can wear a really good false mask and really hide the truth of who they are. And I have learned so many lessons from this life experience. And now I'm ready to take those lessons that I've learned to keep investing in my dreams. And I'm going to take action, listening to my heart and intuition to guide me, instead of like these people who might let their lust or their greed or their pride or their ego or their fear or their insecurity guide them, and complete a cycle The tens in tarot can talk about completing a cycle of thinking that I can have a new beginning in love with someone who's really stressed about love. And I see the truth that some people haven't freed themselves from the devil. The devil is all the things that oppress us, confine us, restrict us, imprison us from being free to live our life authentically, to give and receive love. And I've seen the truth where they might choose to live more from their mind and their heart. That's their free will choice. If their truth is, I want to make my life all about money and materialism, I'm consumed with having a certain status or image and keeping up with the Joneses and, want to be in relationships with people because those are the driving factor, because that's what they align with within themselves. Okay, we don't, we're not the most important thing. Everybody just has their own truth that they align with. We don't have to be in our ego about it. I think if you have some people in your life that were kind of more unwilling to be bold and brave and confident in love, you can get hurt doing love. Some people can't get out of their emotionally defensive nature to be loving because they're so afraid. What if I am my authentic self in the world? And what if it doesn't work out? And then there are probably people who haven't worked on having a very emotionally stable foundation within themselves to feel like if I were to really be authentic and vulnerable in a relationship and it didn't work out, I don't know if I could pick myself up again. It'd probably be really completely devastating to them because they haven't been people who've put work and effort into their foundation to be more emotionally balanced, to believe that they can weather the highs and lows of life. They've got to keep living life trying to maybe control it. Shadowy energy can be, I'm going to live more from my mind than my heart. I got to keep myself safe. I can't get hurt. I can't take a risk. I got to keep repeating this pattern, and I'm going to try to manipulate people to get what I want because I want all the things that other people have in the world. I'm just not willing to be vulnerable or myself. I let my ego run my life. My authentic nature hides inside and looks outside the eyeballs, and I watch my ego run my life. I have this image and this facade I present to the world. So they go out in the world and try to present themselves as harnessing high vibe, Scorpio, Libra, Taurus energy. Oh no, I want to be in a deep, meaningful relationship. I'm emotionally balanced and I'm loyal and committed and I want to give birth to something new. But they hide that their foundation is more aligned with their worldly, materialistic, egoic nature. And they think they can move forward with people who are loving and just manipulate them to get what they want. But they're never really authentically themselves in a relationship. It's kind of indulging in a relationship, I think always stressed out and fearful that other people are going to see the truth, that they're not being authentic. And then they can have a lot of fear about the people they're in a relationship because they know they're not being honest. So then they're worried that the people they're in a relationship with aren't really being who they present themselves as being. And it ends up wrecking the relationships they're in because they're not willing to speak their truth, to live their authentic life. They hide behind a false persona and they're then afraid because they know they're doing it. They're always afraid that other people aren't being authentic, and it ends up sabotaging what could have been stressed out about the truth, that they are hiding the truth. The devil tries to hide the truth. They know they're not being authentic. They know they're this is logical and practical. This is good for my ego and my image. Well, then they're really afraid that the other people they're in a relationship are just in a relationship with them for the money and the status and the image. And they're sure that those people are going to backstab this and go get in a relationship with someone else because they don't really love them. Even though the people they could have been in a relationship were authentically wanting the relationship to work. And their own fear and insecurity that they aligned with within themselves sabotaged what could have been a just and fair and balanced relationship. But because they have so much fear about listening to love and intuition to guide them, because they get hurt, they live more from their mind than their heart, and it wrecks. They end up being bossy and controlling. Eventually, comes out in the relationship, and it wrecks the whole relationship because they're trying to manipulate and control things instead of maintaining balance within themselves, offsetting their own fears and insecurities with love and hope and faith, and tempering their fears and insecurities so that they could move forward and manifest an equally balanced, loving, stable relationship. So that's why it starts within ourself first. If we don't do this work within ourself to authentically be aligned with that, we're going to try to present the illusion that that's who we are so people will get in a relationship with us, and we're going to sabotage it anyway because it's an injustice to get in a relationship with people and not be open and authentic, believing that, you know what? I believe I got what it takes to survive anything. I believe life-giving energy, God will help me. I think I can get through anything. I'm a survivor. And other people are like, oh no, oh my God, we got to be defensive. We can't do anything different. Oh my gosh, we can't move forward. We can't have hope and faith and belief that we can't walk away from our egoic nature that makes us feel safe and secure. Let's be defensive. If anybody wants us to do that, we'll let them go away. We'll go find someone else who maybe doesn't love and believe in themselves, who might be fearful and afraid, and then they'll look to me for everything they need, and then I'll feel like I have justice in the world. And that, is what makes them feel stable and secure in the world. If I'm controlling everything, then, and that, if it would really disrupt our life to live our life differently, it'd be like someone who wants to be a singer in the world and thinking, oh my gosh, I got to, and you're not ready. And, everybody's got to live their life where they're at. So it's just to accept that some people aren't ready to move forward right now. They could have a lot of work to do. It would really destabilize them if they were to maybe live their life any differently. I think if everybody was open to be more confident and bold and brave and loving and authentic in the world, we'd probably all quit our jobs and go do whatever the hell we want to go do, Some people do that and some people don't. And some people try to be more moderate, maybe try to transition between things without totally being bold and brave and confident because, it might work out, but, we also need to keep a roof over our heads. So anyway, let's go see what's coming up for the people who harness some high vibe Scorpio energy. Oh, well, for one, I think you want to close out a chapter with people who either wanted to be indulged in a relationship, because that's what shadowy Empress can be. You could have harnessed it in high vibe, but they were harnessing it in a shadowy way, where they either want to be indulged in a relationship, and that's their idea of the perfect relationship, like, I'm the boss, male or female, and you're supposed to emotionally indulge me in it. And instead, you want to close that out and give birth to an emotionally nurturing person, an emotionally mature person who does take action in love, who doesn't operate from their ego, who isn't stressed and freaked out about love and so fearful and afraid of being their authentic self in the world. Okay, well, I guess this is the way they're supposed to come out. We have the Tower in reverse, Justice in reverse, Seven of Cups, Magician, Page of Swords, Five of Pentacles. And the reason those came out is because of the Eight of Cups. I think as you move forward in your life, for one, you'll be able to completely let some of these shadowy people out of your life. The people who are unstable, who think it's just and fair to create an illusion and manipulate people because they're emotionally immature and they have a lack mentality and they only operate from their worldly nature and maybe don't even connect in with their emotions and intuition. They could be people who think, well, I enjoy having sex with people. I'm connected in with my emotions. It's like, no, that's different. And you'll be able to walk away. As you're moving forward, there might be other people who are going to move forward with you. They also, if they know those same people, they might not be indulging those people in their poor behavior either, or they're walking away from their own similar situation like that. And there might be some people who have viewed you as a just and fair person that they kind of dreamed of manifesting with, but they've kind of been defensive of detaching from whatever they needed to detach from. And now those people are going to let that all go because they don't want an end to a foundation with you, because they do see you as just and fair. They believe that aligning with you will help them manifest their dreams into reality. And they, in that hopeful, believing, kind of pure, innocent nature, are going to defend the decision to move forward with you because they don't want to let go of being in a relationship with you, because they know you move forward in the energy of love and hope and faith and belief. And so they are turning it upside down to not let go of that. I no longer, if I had been defensive to kind of moving forward with you before, I am letting go of all of that. And I am going to offer myself that cup of love, to believe in my dreams, to move forward with you in life, in friendship, in a family dynamic, for some in a romantic relationship. Probably not these people, if you know some people in your life who have recently kind of shown you the truth, that they're willing to let go of loving people because they hide the fact that they don't want to face their fears and insecurities, and they might be quite immature and self-centered and basically be addicted to things in the world that, even if it's themselves, self-centeredness or greed, they're not willing to detach from their more worldly view of life to choose love. Not those people. This would be people who you might have always viewed as being a loving, nurturing person, but they might have had to just get over some illusions that they have of thinking, well, isn't it kind of just and fair for me to kind of be more the person in a power of authority in a relationship versus it being just and fair? Because people can have those illusions in relationships that they should have a more privileged position, And I think it could just be things like that. They might have to get out of something they were involved in. Some of them, if it's, like adult children, they kind of gotta give up some of their illusions and grow up, maybe. What's coming up? Let's get a different deck. What's coming up for the people who harness some shadowy Scorpio energy? What's coming up for them that they might not see coming? The Two of Wands, or the Two of Swords, because of the Ace of Cups. Well, for one, if they were trying to manipulate people into not loving and believing in themselves, thinking for sure that those people would come chase after them, they could feel stuck now because they weren't seeing things clearly in the Two of Swords in their Libra energy. That the other people listened to their intuition and those people loved themselves and those people moved on. And it's like, oh shit. Damn. So then those people feel stuck. And so then they're going to have to go find someone else to go manipulate or control or whatever. Because, and this pattern could end up repeating over and over in their life. If you're trying to be manipulative and immature and kind of defensive and emotionally shallow and superficial, it can be hard to get people to stay in a relationship. And, for some of them, they might realize, damn, that person did love me and I blew it all to hell. It's like, yeah, you did. So, and now those people have moved on. Because in your pride and ego, you turned your back on love, and those people could have been patient for a long time. They didn't want to become emotionally independent from some of these people. But when someone keeps being prideful and egotistical and it's like, like, you can go, I don't care. It's like, okay. I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who's so prideful and egotistical and defensive. Is it that hard to be loving? It's a free will choice. Apparently, you don't free willingly want to be just and fair in a relationship. Okay? I'm going to go find the people in the world who do. So, if it's happening right now, I think high vibe people that have been in a mismatched relationship are seeing the truth finally of the people they've been in a relationship with. And the high vibe people are listening to their intuition to love themselves. And the people that they were dealing with don't want to see the truth that it's about love. And that they should grow up and mature themselves. And some of those people are going to quit emotionally enabling those people. And they're going to do the work emotionally to love and believe in themselves. So they can detach from those people and get out of their ego about the fact that they were in a relationship with someone who seems to either be very materialistic or selfish or greedy or immature or just has a lot of fear of love. And they're going to start speaking their truth and taking action in truth to get their divine inheritance that I deserve to be in relationships with people who have freed themselves from their ego to be emotionally nurturing, loving people in the world who make the free will choice to be just and fair and loyal and committed in relationships and not defensive and prideful and egotistical and manipulative. And for some of the people who are the bossy and controlling people, that could be a real tower moment for them, that some people are leaving their life and moving on, but they're too just unwilling to get out of their ego. And I think they're going to learn some really hard lessons, because they're probably going to go get in some relationships with some people who are like them in a way, who have some lessons to learn. And it's all to try to get them to see the truth that the way you're living your life is not going to get you what you want. If you want to move forward and look victorious and successful and maybe have your dreams come into reality, because the 8 of Cups is moving to the 9 of Cups, which is about emotional wish fulfillment, you need to quit being so bossy and controlling and trying to control things and realize it's supposed to be about love. This is, other people are not a pawn in your game of life for you to try to manipulate and control. You're supposed to love them and work together with them and listen to your intuition and not get all caught up in your head, in your fear and your insecurity. Temper your fears and your insecurities so you can work together with people. And they might have, some of them will never, they'll keep refusing to see the truth. No, if I go any closer, I'm going to have to see the truth that I have a toxic foundation and I don't even want to admit the truth to myself. And they're going to keep doing what they do. So there you go. I wish you peace, love, and joy, Scorpio, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.